the hell was that? Hey guys, what is up? It is your girl, TheScorpioSimmer here, and today we are back with a very special video. I don't know if you can tell by the title, but this is a collab with one of my favorite simmers on this platform, Simmerboi, and if you guys have not seen any of her machinimas before, I highly recommend them. She makes some really awesome content, specifically her Witching Hour series, which is what we are going to be talking about in this video, is her most notable series and her most well known. If you haven't checked it out, I don't know how many times I've said that, but once again, please check it out. Also, if you have not watched the series at all before watching this video, please just stop right here and watch the series before you get back to this video. There will be spoilers from both season 1 and season 2, so I don't know what use you would have if you haven't watched the series already. I'm assuming most of you have if you clicked on this video, so if you haven't watched that, please do. I will leave links to that below. So I guessed all the female characters' zodiac signs previously, and I will also leave that video down below if you'd like to check that out for whatever reason. That video is actually my most viewed video on my channel, which is not surprising. I love that video, and I'm not gonna lie, I do go back and watch that video every once in a while when I just need to get my spirits up, because I love that video. So that's why I was super excited when Simmerboi approached me to do this part 2. She DM'd me on Twitter and she was like, hey, you know, part 1 seemed to go over really well. I really liked doing it. I know you enjoyed doing it. Would you like to do a part 2 where you guess the boys' zodiac signs? And I was like, hell yes, I would. That sounds awesome. And the best part was, she was like, let's get it up on Valentine's Day. And I was like, oh shit, alright, we getting it up on Valentine's Day, okay. I think that's fun and fresh because I don't have a Valentine. Thanks for coming to my TED Talk. So today, I will be guessing the boys' zodiac signs. Specifically, when I talk about the boys, I mean Elias, Victor, Simon, Balzac, which I'm so sorry, but when I say it, and when I've heard some other people say it, it really sounds like you're saying ballsack. I'm so sorry. It's just like, I can't get it out of my head. It's like this one girl that I knew in college who, like, her name's Ariella, and I can't get it out of my head that, like, her name sounds like Areola. Okay, back to the content that we're actually working on. And then finally, we are also going to be looking at Nicholas/Nicole's zodiac sign, which, for those of you who don't know, Nicole's my real name, not my actual sign, because y'all know I'm Scorpio, but we will get to that in a second. So, yeah, I'm just gonna go through and list, like, the ones that I got right, the ones that I got wrong, and the ones that I got kinda right, which I will go into more detail in a second. So, without further ado, let's go. So, I'm just gonna go in the order that I guessed the guys in. So, we're gonna be starting off with Elias, who, oh man, he deserves so much more. For those of you who don't know, he had a thing with Josie, but, like, they never met each other. They, like, talked through, like, a butterfly that, like, talked to each other. I don't know how to explain it. Go watch the series if you haven't seen it. And then Elias died. A rip, am I right? And then he came back to life because Katja, like, summoned the demon, you know, casual, stupid Katja. And he came back to life, and then all of a sudden the stupid demon decided to bring everybody else back to life, and then Elias became a zombie. And they never got to meet, him and Josie, which was very sad. I was rooting for them so hard. Elias is probably one of my favorite guy characters in the whole show. And here's why. It's because I actually guessed Elias right. He was one of the ones I did get right. He is a Capricorn, which is no shock to me. I have a lot of experience with Capricorns in my life. I tend to attract Capricorns, so, like, I just know their energy, you know what I mean? They're very, like, they have a certain mannerism to them. I can't describe it. Some of them are very calm and collected, which I guess I would say Elias is like calmer. I don't know. I'm a very energetic person, so like my version of calm may not be your version of calm, so take it with a grain of salt. He's always very serious about everything he does, and also, I don't know if you know this, but Josie is a Cancer, and so it's known that Capricorns and Cancers are like made for each other, except for Tana and Jake. If you don't know, Tana's a Cancer, Jake Paul is a Capricorn. That didn't end too well, but in this case, hopefully it will end well with Elias and Josie. So obviously with Elias being a Capricorn and Josie being a Cancer, you would think they weren't really made for each other. You know, they're opposite signs, they have very different personality traits. On one hand, I would say Cancers are very soft and, you know, very emotional, whereas Capricorns are very, like, stern and, like, don't really show emotion that much, you know what I mean? But they balance each other out in a weird way, because I feel like Cancers definitely bring out the more emotional side in Capricorns, and then Capricorns can make Cancers a little bit more stable, you know what I mean? Because let's face it, Cancers are emotional messes sometimes, but hey, it really do be like that, doesn't it? So yeah, Elias is a Capricorn. Moving on. So for Victor, I pretty much knew his sign immediately because of his demeanor. Like, I could just tell. The first moment he walked in, I was like, ooh, I know exactly what you are. And not necessarily in a good way. And I think you know what I'm about to say. For those of you who have been following my channel for a while, you know this is not my favorite sign. However, I can make an exception because Victor is actually an Aries. Dun, dun, dun. For those of you who don't know, I have a history with not liking Aries. I could go as far to say as Aries is definitely my least favorite sign. However, I can make an exception for Victor, as my hatred for Aries, no offense Simmer Arid, but mostly goes out towards females. Males I can actually tolerate most of the time, or even be friends with. So yes, Victor is an Aries, and I could tell immediately when he first showed up on the series and was like, "Miss me, Katja," and I was like, okay, listen, buddy, everybody thought you were dead, and now you're back because you're an idiot. But he's got this very Aries-like energy. I don't know if you know who this person is, but Julian Solomita is also an Aries, and I feel like that they have similar energies, except Victor is a little bit more calm and a little bit more like dark. You know what I mean? Yes, Victor is an Aries. So obviously when it comes to Victor and Katja's relationship, y'all know how I feel about Aries, but in a weird way, they definitely balance each other out. Most people don't know this, but Aries and Scorpio actually both used to be ruled by Mars in ancient times before Scorpio eventually in modern astrology was moved to Pluto, RIP. But yeah, they used to be ruled by the same planet, so it makes sense that they have a lot of the same traits. However, I feel like Aries take it out in a much more energetic way, if that makes any sense. They usually are very outgoing and outspoken and are like ready to fight at any moment, whereas with Scorpios it's much more internal. So yes, obviously they can clash. I'm living proof, but they can also fit really well together. And once again, I'm also proof. I have many Aries friends. My dad is an Aries, you know? It can happen. It's, once again, a very opposite. It's either opposites attract or opposites repel sort of situation. It's really a love-hate relationship. There's no better way to describe it. So moving on to the next character that I guess was Nicholas/Nicole, and I was very excited to find out this zodiac sign because it is one of my favorites and we share a name, so can't be too bad at that. So I did also get this one correct, and his/her/them, I don't know what the pronouns are, forgive me, but their zodiac sign is Aquarius, which I was very excited to find out because, as you know, my moon sign is an Aquarius and I relate a lot to it. I could just tell because they're very, like, not attached to their feelings, but, like, they can, like, block it out immediately. I don't really know how to describe it. once again, it's like a feeling, you know? It was just sort of like, I think that they're this person. I think that they're this person. I would hope they're the same person I know. So obviously for Nicholas/Nicole, Aquariuses, once again, are the type of sign that'll kind of get along with anybody, really. I think there's a few signs they may not get along with, but for the most part, I feel like Aquariuses are very moldable to different signs, but they especially like being around other air signs and fire signs. And obviously, with Ivana being a Libra, obviously two air signs are kind of made for each other. They are some of the best and most compatible signs according to most astrology sites, and while I haven't personally seen it, I would assume that it would end up being really, really beneficial for both parties, because Aquariuses are known for not being super emotional, and all the Libras that I've known in my life often tend to show a lot of emotion. So they kind of work each other out. You know, the Libra encourages the Aquarius to sort of show more emotion, and then the Aquarius sort of sees the Libra and like gets the brains out of them. That sounded really weird. You know what I mean. So moving on to the next person. This is actually the only one that I got completely wrong, and I will go more into that later with Balzac, same person. So I knew I was gonna get Simon wrong, because for those of you who don't know, about halfway through season 1, it was found out that he was a fae, and Katja sent him away to be away from Amber, because Amber and Simon also have a thing. So we didn't really get to see much of human Simon's character, which, according to Simmerboi, is his true character. So it was really hard to decide what his real character would be like, because if I were to guess with his fae form, I would have guessed Aquarius. So I was like, okay, I can't really remember much of his human form, so I had to go back and watch the series, which, is that really a problem? I don't think so. But I went back and watched it, and I came to the conclusion that I thought Simon was a Pisces, and specifically because of one scene where he's in the bathroom right after his parents died, spoiler alert, and he's just like woken up in the bathroom and like, he's like, where the hell am I? Like, what am I doing here? What about my parents? Blah, 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 blah. And he was very emotional. And I figured Pisces are very emotional people, and they would get really worked up like that. However, his actual sign is a Sagittarius, which still confuses me a little bit. I'm like, Sagittarius? But at the end of the day, it makes sense. For those of you who don't know, Amber is a Gemini. So, obviously Sagittarius and Gemini, in my opinion, go really well together, because opposite ends of the zodiac sign combine together, and they can either attract or repel each other. In this case, attraction. Obviously, Sagittariuses are known for being very energetic. Obviously, with my personal experience, I feel like they're very outgoing people, and they love to talk to everybody. They get along with so many different kinds of people. Sagittariuses are definitely like the type of people that will talk to anybody, at least in my personal experience. So it makes sense that a Sagittarius could be with basically anybody. But specifically when it comes to a Sagittarius being with a Gemini, once again, it's like the same situation for Elias and Josie. They balance each other out in a weird way. Sagittariuses are known for being very fun and energetic, and they'll, just take off at any time. And while Geminis, they have some of the same traits, I feel like they're more brains-oriented. Geminis are much more brains-oriented, whereas Sagittariuses are much more experience-oriented. And they really balance each other out, because Gemini is like, hey, think with your head, and Sagittarius is like, no, think with your heart. And so the two together, they make the best decisions. Finally, we have Balzac. So this one's a little bit weird, because I did actually get his true sun sign wrong. However, I guessed his rising sign by accident, which Simmerboi went as far as to make rising signs for all her characters, which is awesome. I actually guessed that Balzac was a Taurus. I don't really have a lot of experiences with Tauruses in my personal life. However, I just thought that his calm demeanor and character, he was just kind of that kind of character. Was I'm chilling. He's not really seen too much in the series. You don't get to see his character develop as much as the other guys, but either way, I feel like in his character that I've seen, I thought Taurus was the best answer. However, he is actually a Virgo with a Taurus rising. So I feel like that does make sense because he's very grounded, very earth signy. Because for those of you who don't know, Virgo and Taurus are 2 of the 3 earth signs. The other one is Capricorn. Now thinking back to it, he definitely has a lot of Virgo tendencies. You know, nervousness is usually a thing that happens with Virgos. Also, another running theme is just, you know, having, not necessarily being in charge, but, you know, nitpicking things. I didn't really see that too much with Balzac. However, I think there's little snippets that you can notice where he is definitely like, oh, you know, shouldn't do this, shouldn't do that, blah, 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 blah. Now, unlike the rest of the boys in this, obviously Balzac doesn't have a partner that is like he's compatible with that we've talked about. Not that he's not compatible with anybody. Obviously, Virgos are great signs. So obviously with Balzac being a Virgo, Josie being a Cancer, we're going to talk about their friendship. In my personal experience, I feel like Virgos are the type of sign that can be kind of hard to get along with, especially at first. They are definitely like very stern sort of people. They have it their way or the highway. And Cancers are very moldable sort of people. So they kind of like fit in with everybody, you know? There are certain signs that do that. Once again, I've talked about all of those. So with Cancers being very like sweet and innocent, and they're just kind of like bubbly and excitable, I guess, Virgos are very rigid and stern and kind of tend to stick to their own habits, and I feel like Cancers sort of tend to pull them out of that and just get them to see the beauty in the world, you know, because Virgos often tend to deal with very negative thoughts and emotions about themselves, about the world. They're very pessimistic people, and I feel like with Cancers being so optimistic most of the time, it really helps bring them out of their shell. Okay, I think that is everything for right now. Thank you guys so much for coming to my TED Talk. Please like, comment, or subscribe, or don't. I'm not the boss of you. And I will see you guys later. And don't forget, check out Simmerboi down below. I will leave her Witching Hour Season 1 and Season 2 down below, as well as her channel link. And yeah, that is everything. I will see you guys later. Bye!